Testing, testing. Welcome to the 2021 Economic Depression and Preparation channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this live edition of Preach to Me Financial News and the latest with what's going on in this economy. I want to start off by wishing everyone a happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to those fathers out there who are preparing, learning, and growing financial men and women of substance, character, and of integrity. And so I want to wish Happy Father's Day to everyone, whether you're in the U.S. or abroad. The fathers to be that became fathers this month, this week. Thank you for your sacrifice, for your service. Happy Father's Day to my dad as well. And we just really appreciate you for being the economic and moral engine of your family, of your community, and everything that you do. So thank you once again to the fathers out there. You do a tremendous job, and you're one of the reasons why you've upheld this economy. God bless you, and continue to do what you do for your children and for others, kids in the community, to build strong families across the world and across the United States of America. So thank you, fathers, for all you do. I just want to say that before I get out into our business of today. Thank you for joining me once again. This is a live stream. I'm trying this out for the first time. If I have technical difficulties, please excuse me. I don't quite understand everything the YouTube Live has to offer. And so I'm trying this out as a beta test to, introduce us into the live stream world. And so thank you for joining me once again. Hi, Yami. Thank you, my sister, for joining me on this live stream edition here. And we're going to get right into it. We have some topics here, and I want to show you here some topics. Well, I think it's, let's see. Okay, yeah, here we go. We want to show you some topics here that what's going on here. And we're going to be talking about the global economy. As you know, we're halfway through the year. This is the summer solstice 2021. We are halfway through this year here, and I am excited to bring you the latest financial news here. And today we're going to be talking about the rate hikes that are going to be coming before 2023 by the Federal Reserve Bank. And because interest rates are rising and things are tightening up by banks and others, that means that we also have to tighten up as consumers to get prepared for what's coming, because you know that they gave out all this free money to both consumers and to businesses with the triple P loans to small businesses that we received, and it was great. But now the spigot is being turned off, so to speak. The proverbial spigot is being turned off, and that means that there's going to be more danger and more things that we have to look forward to here. So please let me know if I'm buffering or anything. I'll try to refresh the frame rate. My computer is a little bit slow, so it's a little bit lag that I'm experiencing for some reason. But guys, stay with me. The Federal Reserve now will forecast at least 2 rate hikes by the end of 2023. And we had 13 members of the Federal Open Market Committee. What it is they have a board of governors, just like you have in any organization or committee. They're made up of at least 16 members. 13 of the members believe the Fed will increase rates in 2023, and the majority of them believe that the central bank will hike it at least twice that year. The reason why I'm concerned about it is because we see that inflation is at 5%, according to their numbers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers. Inflation is forecast to go to 5% before the end of this year. And that doesn't include food and energy prices. And so because of that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to experience hyperinflation sooner than we thought. And so the members of the Federal Reserve Open Committee feel that we're going to have to raise rates. And we're not talking about a huge rate increase here. Chairman Jerome Powell says that if he does increase rates, we're talking about like a quarter of a percentage point, 0.25%. But even that is going to be enough to slow this economy down and make things difficult to borrow money for houses, for cars, for land, all kind of stuff that consumers would typically need. And so therefore, we need to prepare ourselves for this, because the rate hikes are coming. I would say the first rate hike is coming in after October. And that's when also we got to prepare ourselves for the lockdown, because as you can see, The Dow Jones and the S&P 500 is going to continue to surge here. Odds favor the Dow being higher. End of 2021. 125 years of history support this. This is what Mark Cuban says, that they're looking for a strong boom in stocks. But you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, is that in Venezuela, in Turkey, in Greece, in Iceland, and all of these countries that experienced the currency crisis, we experienced the same thing. The stock market, all of their stock markets went up. Weimar, Germany, Zimbabwe, the stock market went up to 40, 50,000, but that doesn't mean the real economy on Main Street is going up. And so the media is trying to paint this picture that, look, things are in our favor. It's booming here. But look, you can see out in the streets, that we can see on the streets, that there is no booming thing that's happened here. The only thing that's booming is debt and unemployment and homelessness and crime. Listen, I only go to certain places. I don't know about you, but I only go to certain places during the day, doing my regular work day and my independent work, gym, school, work, family. I only go grocery store, banks. I only go to certain places during the day and during the course of the weekend, because I am afraid too. Because you could be minding your own business and somebody could just open up a cap, bust whatever on these streets. So it is getting very dangerous, and that's another reason why we have to be prepared, because this stock market is going to be a big disconnect between Main Street, Wall Street, and the general community at large. By the way, happy Juneteenth yesterday to everyone that celebrated. Just blessing towards everyone toward that. Happy Father's Day. And also I want to say that I'm thankful for those people who have survived the health crisis. We always talk about the deaths that have been associated with this pandemic, but there have been many people that haven't recovered and have recovered from a while. So those 600,000 people that have recovered during the first half of this year, to all of you, you deserve a round of applause as well. And with this economy. And so thank you to our nurses, doctors, and to our home health, and to our naturopathic doctors as well, for providing us with quality foods, herbs, and things of that nature too. So I want to get that out there too as well. Now, here you can see the chart. The stock market is likely to rise in the second half of 2021. This is not a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. This means that hyperinflation is continuing. When you see stocks, remember now, 6 stocks make up the S&P 500. I'm going to give you this. Well, the 6. You basically know the FANG stocks. It's Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google, Netflix, right? They make up over 60 to 70% of the S&P 500 and NASDAQ value. And even they are overvalued. And you remember during the pandemic, what was closed during the pandemic, ladies and gentlemen? Certainly not Amazon, certainly not Target, certainly not Walmart, but your local mom and pop stores were closed, right? In most parts of the country. Well, why is that? Because you got to remember, in the Great Depression, we had what? We had monopolies. All of the antitrust laws, all of that can be bought by these people because they make way more money than, these are mega billionaires. They make way more money than what government regulations can do to them. So we have monopolies now, just like we had during the Great Depression. And this is from Fox Business News. What are the greatest global economy, the biggest threats in 2021? Divided U.S. government, not the health crisis, poses the biggest risk. And I agree somewhat partially with that. What do you think are the biggest threats in 2021 with this economy? And the reason I bring that up is because the majority of the world is really getting sick of the dollar. They are tired of being under the dollar. Most currencies only last 100 years anyway before they get phased out or they crash completely. And the dollar has been in existence just over 96 years. So it's time now for this system to crash. And they're putting a lot of debt. They keep printing up money, and that means the money becoming worthless. And here's the biggest thing that President Biden has called for. You remember in the past, he called for erasing student loan debt, guys? Well, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to pay that. That ends along with the housing moratorium, the rental moratorium, that ends in some states this week. There's 6 states where it's ending this week. The majority of the states have it ending the end of July into August. So let me know what you're seeing in your town or city with the rental moratorium and the other moratorium, because is that going to be extended? What do you think? I don't think they can extend it much longer throughout the rest of this year. I'm guessing October through the end of the federal fiscal year will be the end of the rental and housing mortgage moratorium deal. But this is the biggest threat. The number one is this health crisis that's going to be extending through 2023. Remember, they start talking about the Delta variant on TV. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. But we do know that they're using this crisis to never let a good crisis go to waste. It's the saying, the quote that we heard. They're going to be use this crisis to extend financial lockdowns on typical American citizens. So don't be surprised. We're going to let you have your fun now. Go out, travel. Hey, do what you need to do. To my friends going to Europe and Mexico, Tulum, and what else? Aruba and some of these other countries. Go ahead, enjoy yourself. As long as you got vaccinated, or if you didn't get vaccinated, the quarantine. But come this fall, and I'm saying this right now, this is a stern prediction. After August 30th, make sure you have all your preparations in hand. It could be before then, but I'm saying after August 30th, we're going into another lockdown. Some states, especially on the East Coast. If you're in New York, D.C., Boston, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Florida, Georgia, get ready for a lockdown after the holidays, after July the 4th and all of that, and when school gets ready to go back in, because we're going to see another resurgence, just like in India, but over here with this Delta variant. They may call it Echo or some other kind of name, but we're going to see that. Next up, this emission goals. As you know, it's been so hot. Listen, Phoenix, Arizona is a hot place anyway, but I've never seen this heat in the beginning of June, middle of June, at 120 to 128 degrees. This is unprecedented heat, and so we're gonna have to pay for the drought conditions. The U.S.-China tensions is gonna be absolutely critical. China is winning the trade war. For those of you who don't know, we are importing a lot more goods from China. They're winning the trade war. Russia has already said they're leaving the U.S. dollar this year. And if the Middle East and OPEC, the oil producing countries, decide to leave the U.S. dollar, guess what, folks? We are in some big, big trouble. And that's what President Biden and the Democrats and other people are afraid of, is that if Russia leaves the U.S. dollar, and China obviously has already had a cashless society for about, 6-7 years now, they're technologically advanced, but they're about 10 years to 12 years ahead of the United States anyway in terms of technology. So that's going to break the U.S. economy. And this is not counting a black swan event. You guys can list the black swan events that you think is going to happen. I've already said that I believe a blackout or a brownout is going to be the next event, since they've been talking about this cyber. By the way, mark on your calendars, July 9th, there's going to be a cyber attack exercise done by the U.S. government on July the 9th. I forgot. I think somebody told me it's called Polygon or something like that. But in any event, there's going to be a cyber exercise done on July the 9th. So that may hold very significance for Russia, China, U.S., and other cyber nations, okay? And that may hold significance for this economy. Now, global data control is another thing. I always tell people this: in this economy, guess what's the new currency? It's not the dollar. Information is the new currency. Remember that. Write that down. Your information, my information, whether digital, stored in the cloud, or physically stored at wherever location, is the new currency. And that's the battleground. Intelligence, information, that's the new currency. Data, that's the new gold. Data is the new gold, and that's where China and other looking to be superpower First Nation countries, which they already are data sovereignty. That's going to be where the economy of the U.S. is going to be failing at, because these countries now have got the U.S. beat in technology and all of that. Maybe not in terms of military prowess, because we have 800 bases around the world, but that is changing rapidly, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the thing too. Now, the U.S. debt clock, let's take a look at that. I told you guys we're over $28 trillion in debt, and there it is, live time. You can see it for yourself, usdebtclock.org. So with this increasing, you can see we're taking in more money. We're taking in less money than we're spending, okay? Now, the federal government has spent this year on stimulus packages, and I have to include Trump's first, because the stimulus plan started under President Trump. Let's get that right. The first stimulus check we got was under President Trump, and then Biden gave us 2 additional stimulus checks. So all in total, so far stimulus, we've spent $5 trillion on stimulus. Now he wants another $6 trillion for this infrastructure bill, as well as the American Rescue Family Plan. Wow. So by the end of this year, ladies and gentlemen, we can be 10 or 11 trillion dollars added onto this in debt. By the end of Biden's first term, we haven't even got to the end of his first year, but by the end of midterms, the presidential midterms that you see right after you see here, it's possible that with this debt here can be another almost close to $40 trillion in U.S. debt, and that's just unsustainable. And he knows that. The only people that's not going to be affected by this is Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, veterans, and those people who are receiving checks, disability through those things. You probably won't be affected because it's a separate trust fund for those amounts. So once again, if you're under that, those are separate trust fund. You won't be affected by the coming shutdown normally, typically. So anybody on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, thank God, federal benefits, retirement benefits, stuff like that, you won't be affected because it's a separate trust fund from this national debt up here. I just want to make sure you understand that. Now, those of you who have student loan debt, myself included, unfortunately, we're going to have to pay or make some arrangements on that. As you can see, the student loan debt is now at a whopping $1.7 trillion. President Biden says he won't forgive that. And so we're going to have to make some type of arrangements on that. I'm not worried about it. I'm poor, but I'm going to make some arrangements on mine, hopefully soon. In the meantime, the US dollar is getting ready to collapse. Okay. This is on thebalance.com. What you need to do to protect yourself from a potential dollar collapse. Well, number one, you need to keep yourself informed. And I try to be balanced. I try to give you different sources, not just MSNBC, Fox, or CNN, but I try to give you stuff from Reuters and BBC and more of a global perspective, because what's happening globally, since we're in a globalization economy, affects us too everywhere. So keep a diversified portfolio. I always tell everybody to keep a diversified portfolio, just like you need to keep a diversified garden. You want to have things that are staples in your portfolio, some cash on hand, gold and silver. Liquidity is important. Have some liquid assets. If you can trade in something for barterability, a car, sell a car, offhand, off the system for more money than the book value, do it. If you can sell arts and crafts through Etsy, ladies, if you do that, if you have old clothes, instead of giving them away to Goodwill, if you can sell them to somebody or rent the runway to a good person, do that. Invest in foreign mutual stock and bond funds. This is important because emerging market economies, Brazil, Russia, India, China, Singapore, Japan, those economies are going to be more stable than the U.S. economy, at least for the next 10 years, because the U.S. economy is going through a transition, obviously through a Great Depression transition, basically. So invest in other countries' foreign mutual stock and bond funds. You can get that, of course, on places like Vanguard, Fidelity. Mix it up. Go E-Trade. Mix it up in those areas. Buy gold and precious metals. They may appear to be going down now or holding steady, but that is your hedge against inflation. Silver is a better bet right now. I'm personally, because gold is too expensive to me right now. I think the premiums are too high on gold, and they don't really have a great return on investment as far as what you can get in liquidity out of it. Cryptos have a better return of investment right now. So I know people don't like me saying that, but it does have a return on that of investments as well. Two conditions that can lead to collapse: the dollar's underlying weakness. As you can see, the dollar's been losing purchasing power for the last 45 years, ladies and gentlemen. So the only thing that makes the U.S. economy strong right now is that the dollar is the world reserve currency, which it became in 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard. And there's some people that say that we're going back to the gold standard. That's not going to happen. We're too far gone. We don't have enough gold in the vaults at Fort Knox or any other of these places to be able to back the currency. And so what they're going to do is they're going to have to basically scrap the dollar and go to a digital Fed dollar. But in order to do that, there's going to be some pain and the depression in the process because everybody's invested in these U.S. dollars. So 61% of the foreign current reserves are in dollar. And that's the only thing that's keeping the U.S. economy afloat right now. There is no viable currency alternative to buy. The euro is an okay currency, but it's still a little bit unstable. China and others argue that a new currency should be created as the global currency. And they want the yuan to do it, the Chinese yuan. I don't think so. And I don't think Bitcoin is going to be the one to replace it either. What's going to happen is we're going to go to special drawing rights. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has what they call special drawing rights. You can Google it, look it up. and they're going to create a dollar, and it's going to create a dollar based on a mix of all of these currencies, from the yen, the Japanese yen, to the yuan, to the euro, to the dollar, since the dollar is going to fall. And that's what's going to happen. The countries are going to go to the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and they're going to say, we're sick of this dollar. It's not going to be able to buy anything. So people that argue for more stimulus, or all of these different arguments that I'm hearing, the problem is that the more you print up, the more debt you owe, and the less the dollar buys. And this is exactly why it's going to crash. And this is why it's going to lead to an economic collapse. So right now we have an underlying weakness in the dollar. Once the alternative currency, comes up for everyone to buy, that's going to trigger the bubble, and that's going to, and China and Japan begin to dump their dollars. That's it. The dollar is over. And so to protect yourself, once again, diversify: mutual funds, gold, silver, high yield savings account, tradeability, barterability. Those things are going to put the odds in your favor when this system, when this dollar collapses. Now, because the housing market that we have now is only upheld because there's been hedge funds like BlackRock and merge funds coming in and buying up. Once that stops after this summer, it's all bets off. And this dollar is going to be the first to go down. Right now, the dollar is strong, but it's going to be going down because of this debt load. And the federal government doesn't have enough tax revenue up here, bringing in enough tax revenue, as you can see. And the states are in trouble. California is in trouble. Illinois is in trouble. Texas, New Jersey, Massachusetts, you name it. These states they're in heavy debt and they're broke. Look at the state debt, $1.2 trillion. Local debt, $2.1 trillion. The local municipalities are in debt, and they're not going to be able to get loans from the federal government anymore after the midterm elections 2022, because President Biden's not going to be able to pass any bills because Republicans are going to vote out. He's not going to have the majority in the House and the Senate anymore like he has now. So, ladies and gentlemen, get prepared now. You can see the median income of the U.S. households is at $35,518 after taxes and after everything is being taken out, and that's about right. So, get prepared now. The best thing to do is to continue to put the odds in your favor by making sure that you cut down on these high interest debt that you do have. Get rid of the high interest credit cards or consolidate them so that you can be ready for this rise, because Chairman Jerome Powell is serious. He means business. He is going to have to raise rates by the end of this year. And then next year, we definitely going to be seeing 2 or 3 rate hikes. And that's just going to absolutely kill any chances of us escaping some of this debt that we're under. So I just want to make you aware of that. And I'll be back with more live stream. I just want to test this out to see if you guys can hear me, if this is testing, if it works. I don't know. I will come on with more. Please suggest more topics that you would like to see me cover, and I will do that. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. Let me know if the feed was working, if you can hear me. And I thank you for watching once again. Please enjoy the rest of your Sunday, Father's Day, June 20th, first day of summer solstice. And I'll definitely be here to share with you more in the future. Thank you very much, and God bless. Talk to you very soon.